All right, hey everybody. I'm back for pen chat number 3. So the first video, hey buddy. First video I went over, Cash is gonna join. First video I went over kind of a part of my collection. Second video I went over the other part of my collection. And then in this video, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna talk about 3 flagship model pens that I have. Pilot's flagship pen, Pelikan's flagship pen, and Mont Blanc's flagship pen. And then I'm going to talk about, I'm going to compare the nibs. All 3 are large nibs. You've got Pilot's number 30, 18 karat gold nib. I've got the Mont Blanc's 21 karat white gold nib. And then I have the Pelikan M1000 18 karat gold nib. So we're going to compare those 3, and then I'm also going to compare a Jovo number 8 steel nib on my 54T Titan. So what I hope this video accomplishes is for people that can't try those pens easily. If you don't live close to a big pen store like I am lucky enough to do in Greenville, South Carolina, or even if you do and they don't let you dip test them, which I'm assuming most probably don't, will only find out how these write if you get one, or try one at a pen club or a pen show or something like that. And that's really the only way to tell. I mean, they all 4 write so differently. You have the Pelikan and the Pilot that write somewhat similar in terms of the bounciness and the feel of the nib. And then you have the Titan and the Mont Blanc, which oddly enough write very similarly. They're more precise, they're more firm, not as much bounce, better for printing. So that's really what I hope to accomplish here, is just kind of give my take on those, give you a warning. The video is probably going to ramble quite a bit. My thoughts kind of go all over the place here at the end of the day at 7:30. I haven't had a glass of whiskey yet, so it is going to be a little bit long-winded, but if you're watching this YouTube video, what else do you have going on? So with that being said, we'll go to camera number 2 and we'll start the video. All right, well, we're going to start this off by talking about my 54T Titan. Erase this outtake here. Okay, so I'm not going to get into all the other merits of the pen, the filling system, the size, the dimensions. I really just want to kind of talk about the nib experience on this. So this is a Jovo number 8 fine nib. When I first got this, it wrote more like a medium. I also had a medium nib unit that I actually was original to the pen, and I swapped that. I bought the fine because the medium was just, it was really, really nice to write with. I still have it. Really nice to write with. It was just way too wet and way too wide for me. So here's the fine. I had this ground down to more of an extra fine. Just had Mark Bacchus match my Pilot 823 fine. And now it's just perfect, exactly what I wanted. So nib size, it's a huge nib. I'll do a size comparison with the 4 pens I have here in a few minutes, but huge nib, complemented by an excellent grip section. So it's long, it's thick, it is concave. It's got a very comfortable spot here to rest your finger. It's just very, very comfortable, and it makes the pen feel more precise when you're writing. As this is a number 8 steel nib, it's, I expected this to be a little bit firmer. It's really not. It's pretty bouncy. I mean, it is precise, especially in this kind of extra fine line width, but it's bouncy. So it's nice to have this kind of extra level of control here. You can print with this very neatly, I think. I don't print very neatly, but someone that does could. It's great for script. It has a decent amount of line variation. So, and in this pen I have Diamine Oxford Blue. And I will call this the extra fine, even though it is a fine nib. So yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's pretty bouncy to write with. Go ahead and do the, I'll do the lazy brown fox. Jumped over the quick dog. That doesn't make any sense. I think I got those backwards. The lazy brown fox jumped over the quick dog. Yeah, that's not right. Anyways, yeah, this is a great pen. This is a great example of what I'm going to talk about a lot, which is the grip sections on these larger nib pens is extremely important. Especially for me, I have large hands. I need to feel a little bit more in control of the pen when I'm writing with a larger nib. Otherwise, my handwriting just gets out of control, especially when you get to like the Pelikan M1000s or the Custom Marouchi and those kind of bouncier nibs. You need something to grab onto. Otherwise, you're just kind of gliding off the page and it's, illegible. And I don't know, for me, that just helps a lot. So that's one thing I really like about this pen. It turns this pen into kind of a cool novelty, cool design, awesome filling system pen you pull out every once in a while, to a pen that I use pretty much every day. I use this to update my planner. I use this on copy paper. This is one of my favorite everyday pens. I would probably make this my everyday pen over my Pilot 823 if it had a clip, but it doesn't. So also, I just to speak quickly about this, that the weight of this, the materials are just premium materials. You've got a lot going on here in terms of construction. You can watch YouTube videos on that. But it's not, as much that there is going on in the filling system and all the metal, and I think there's a copper plunging rod here. But anyways, there's a lot going on here in the back. It is back weighted, but it's not uncomfortably so. Now, if it's posted, which I've never written with this pen posted, it's just absolutely ridiculous. It's like a sledgehammer. It's just not doable at all, I don't think. But the cool thing is that you can just set this metal cap here, set it straight up and down, and anyways, I mean, the clip keeps it from, the clip would keep it from rolling away, but this is heavy enough you can just kind of prop it up. So that's the 54T. All right, the next pen is going to be my Mont Blanc Origin Series 149. Just give you a little close up here of the cap. Just an awesome pen. I could talk about this pen for a long time. But anyways, got here nice finial stainless steel on the cap and on the piston rod. Also not a supremely back weighted pen, a little bit of back weight, but very comfortable. But we're talking about nibs, so this is, let me compare this with the Titan nib here. So the Titan nib is larger, definitely larger. It's longer, it's wider. Titan nib is larger, yes. Mont Blanc nib is way more gorgeous. That's goes without saying. This is a 21 karat white gold nib. I have this in a medium. I had this ground down also by Mark Bacchus to be about a Pilot 823 medium. It's my favorite medium nib size. and it's absolutely perfect. I mean, it's one thing that, and this is I had a Mont Blanc 149 that really I got when I got this one, because I was kind of scared to write with this in medium. You know, I was contemplating doing the Mont Blanc nib swap program. So I got a Mont Blanc 149, which is, I could admit, a little bit ridiculous, but I got one used on eBay. Figure I could sell it. I sold it, you know, without any problems, but just really to test out a Mont Blanc fine, because I wanted to see if I wanted to swap it out for fine. The Mont Blanc fine was great, but I figured, you know what, I'll just have this ground down a little bit. I didn't want to go 6 to 9 months without this pen, and with I didn't really know what the lead time was, and I wanted to ink it and write with it faster. So anyways, I did that. Very happy that I did. So one thing about, I lost my train of thought. One thing about Mont Blanc 149s, and I'm assuming probably the same for 146s, is that the nibs are very, very precise. There is hardly any flex whatsoever, which is one thing I really like about this pen, because now that I had it ground down a little bit to a more reasonable medium, I feel like it's just expanded the use case for this pen to where I can use this every day. I can use this in my journal. I can use it on copy paper. I can use it on legal pads. Just it's a very, very precise nib. It's great for printing. Great for cursive. I have J. Urban Blue Day Profondeurs, which is one of my favorite blue-black inks. But anyways, I really do love the feel of this nib. It's one that I use almost as often as my Palette A23, Lamy 2000, and my Titan. It's probably, you know, I use it, you know, it's up there in my rotation of just kind of everyday, all-use pens. Grip section, do a comparison with the Titan so you can see what I'm talking about. So grip section, it's much shorter, it is wider. There's not really a taper, maybe a slight taper where it kind of gets to this more matte plastic at the very end of the barrel and the grip section. There's a slight taper there, but I find it very comfortable. It is much shorter than the 54T. But yeah, I've never had an issue with my fingers slipping onto the nib, which tends to happen on kind of thinner grip sections. This one is just thick enough to where that does not happen. Very comfortable. Great pen, great nib, no complaints. Use this one just about every day. And yeah, that's the Mont Blanc. Next pen, we've got the Pelikan M1000. So I have this one in an extra fine, which I think is a necessity. I got a little ink creep there. It's been happening, I don't know why, but I'll have to fix that later. All right, so the Pelikan nib is much, I wouldn't say much longer than the Mont Blanc, but it's longer. Maybe it just looks a lot longer because it's almost tubular. Very beautiful nib. Just gorgeous to look at. Compared to the Titan is bigger and wider. Grip sections,
I'd say this one is similar to the Mont Blanc. It's a little bit longer, a little bit more narrow, but it has much more of a concave or taper at the end of the grip section towards the nib. So as comfortable as the Mont Blanc is, I do tend to like this grip section a little bit more, and kind of for the same reasons as the Titan. The extra bit of kind of taper at the end is necessary with this pen more than the Mont Blanc, because this nib, as you probably know, is extremely, extremely bouncy and soft. It's not a flex nib. People on YouTube, everybody says this is not a flex nib, don't flex it. They're right. However, I mean, it flexes. You can't not keep it from flexing just a little bit. In this pen, I have KWZ, standard, honey. So the M1000 nib is a unique experience. It is really, really fun to write with. It's fun to just put a cool shading ink in there, shading ink, not shitty ink, shading ink, and just write nonsense. I mean, it's just really, really nice to write with, really fun, gorgeous pen. I had an M800 in the green and black striped barrel for a little bit. I actually sold it because I like the M800, the size of it. I just thought it was ugly. And I know that's kind of blasphemous because that's Pelikan's original kind of colorway, but I just like the black so much better. I think it's very classy. So yeah, M1000, just super fun. You can't really print with this. I find it very difficult. Very difficult to print. You're gonna get a lot of line variation. You really can't put any pressure when you write with this pen. You just kind of let the pen do the work for you, which really you should be doing with all your fountain pens. But I'm a heavy writer, and I really have to be conscious not to be when I'm writing with this, just because I don't want to flex it. This pen definitely kind of rewards people that take their time. It rewards people that write with in cursive. All in all, I think it's really awesome, and it's one of my favorites. Not one that I use every day. I'd say it's more of a not special occasion. I mean, I do write with it every day, sitting in my chair at night, just kind of writing in my notebook. But I don't use it for more, like, I guess, for tasks. I just use it for fun. Whereas the Mont Blanc and the 54T are more utilitarian pens that I can use for just about anything. This one is just more for entertainment. And this is kind of what makes fountain pens fun, is that, I have two pens that I use that way, where I use them when I'm just feel like writing something. So that's the Pelikan M1000. Last one is my grill pen, Palette Custom Marouchi Impression Blue. Now I will say my grill pen before this one was the Palette Custom Marouchi in black, and I never got it. And then this came out, and I was like, well, now's a good time. So I got a good deal on this on eBay, or not eBay or Reddit, I can't remember. But this thing is just an absolute monster. It's M1000 is a big pen. This just kind of dwarfs it in terms of thickness, length. The nibs are, the Pilot number 30 nib is, I would say, significantly larger, both in width and in length. from the M1000. Grip section's larger. It's about the same length. You have a little bit more threads here, barrel threads. That makes it look a little bit longer, but the actual grip section is about the same length, but it's just wider. There's more of a concave grip section here. Significantly thicker grip section than the Titan. Again, about the same length. A little bit thicker, or a lot thicker, I would say. And the Urushi is about the same use case as the Pelikan for me. I mean, I use this for fun. This is, I usually keep my favorite ink in this pen. I guess my favorite ink is Diamond Oxford Blue, but I keep kind of my favorite shading ink in here, which right now is Robert Oster Gray Seas. And I have this in fine medium. Now I would say this pen is a little bit bouncier than the Pelikan. The Pelikan is softer. I can't really describe the difference between bouncy and soft on a video. You kind of have to experience it for yourself to know what I'm talking about. But the Pelikan feels like you're flexing, whereas this one feels like the nib is bouncing, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't, but it makes sense in my head. So, and it is my channel after all. It's more precise than the Pelikan, and maybe that's why I'm describing it that way. But and it could just be because it's a fine medium. I would like to try a medium in this the Custom Marouchi or a Pilot number 30 nib at some point, but the fine medium is just awesome for what this is. I mean, there's more feathering in this pen and the Pelikan just because of the character of the nibs, but I get less feathering with this pen. And I can write in my bullet journal. I can, typically I don't get really a whole lot of feathering in that, and that's less quality paper than this notebook, which is a Taroko Designs Tomoe River notebook. But copy paper, I haven't really tried it on copy paper. This is also just kind of a pen I use for fun, but it's gorgeous. The size is not off-putting to me like it is to some. The cap is absolutely monstrous, and I would say 90% of the size of this pen feels like it's coming from the cap when it's capped. You look at it with the cap on and you're just like, oh my gosh, that is ridiculously huge. But then you take the cap off and it feels really like a normal pen. I mean, it's not, it's longer, and it's not that much wider than the Mont Blanc 149. It's longer, but again, that doesn't really, length of the pens doesn't really bother me because I have big hands. So I find it comfortable. I mean, I can write for long periods of time with this, and my hand doesn't cramp. It doesn't bother me really. And I like that about this. With the M1000, I don't really write for long periods with that, just because I tend to feel like I'm kind of out of control and that maybe I'm flexing it too much. And so the more I write with the Pelikan M1000, the more I kind of decide, I'm going to put this away because I feel like I'm going to break it. This nib, because it's not quite as soft, doesn't feel that way. It feels more robust. Now that's probably just paranoia because it's a Pelikan M1000. The nib is designed to last for a long period of time. So I don't think I would ever break it because I am conscious of it. But this one just feels a little bit more sturdy when you're writing, despite the bounciness to it. So let me have this uncapped so it might dry out a little bit. There you go. Yeah, I mean, the Pilot is probably maybe a little bit smoother. I mean, the Pelikan doesn't really have feedback, but you can hear it on the page. It sings just a tad, which maybe makes it feel like it's not quite as smooth as the Pilot. Now this is a extra fine, so that I'm sure that makes some bit of a difference, despite Pelikan sizing up a little bit on their M1000 nibs. But now that I'm like writing with it and talking about it, I'm just kind of swapping back and forth here. Yeah, I mean, it's not as the Custom Marouchi is smoother. I can pretty much say that with confidence. You can see the difference in size here. I mean, it's a lot bigger. It's not as smooth as the Custom 823, the number 15 nib in medium. That one is like glass. The cool thing about this hobby is, you just have to try these for yourself. I mean, if you are lucky enough, like I am, to live near a pretty large pen store, you go in and you can ask if they can do a dip test, or the store near my house called Trufe in Greenville, South Carolina, they have a bunch of Mont Blancs testers, and they have some pilots and some platinum testers as well. I think some Lamis, so you can test out different nib sizes and you can make the comparison. Now they don't, they won't ink up a Custom Marouchi for you. That's $1,600 retail, or an M1000, I don't think, but it doesn't hurt to ask, because it's a big investment when you're just going in blind. So that's why I wanted to do this video. I wanted to just show you 4 large nibs from at least three flagship pens of big brands: Pelikan, Montblanc, Pilot. And I would say that these are their 3 flagships. I mean, the 149, the M1000, the Custom Marouchi. It doesn't mean that's their best pen, that these are their best pens, but they're flagship model pens. And then just also show you number 8 Jovo steel nib, because those are you've got a couple different brands doing those now. You have, I think, Leonardo. I think Leonardo does one. Santini does a number 8 nib. It's an in-house nib, a gold nib. Gravitas does a number 8 Jovo nib in some of their pens, the Monster and a couple other ones that I've seen. So yeah, I just wanted to show you a couple of these and hope that it will help make your decision, because you can do the nib nook on Goulet pens and compare different sizes, but there's really nothing like writing with them and seeing how they interact with the paper, and your writing style especially plays a big role, because some people, a Pelikan M1000 and extra fine may be a little bit too fine for them. I write heavy, so I kind of have to go up half a size in every nib size that I use. I know that like a Lamy medium is just unusable for me. I push down way too hard, especially I'm talking about the Lamy 2000s, but I had a medium in that, sold it. It was just way too wet. And I will say too, as you know, paper matters a lot. I mean, this is, like I said, a Taroko Designs Enigma notebook. It makes every nib size maybe a size larger. When I'm writing in my bullet journal or on my campus paper, it's the 54T is more like an extra fine. Here it looks more like a fine medium. The Mont Blanc is way more under control on other paper. So anyways, that's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it. And if I can answer any questions, feel free to send me a message or a comment, and I will try to answer it honestly. I know a lot of this is kind of rambling, but when you're kind of doing this in real time and you're trying to compare 4 awesome nibs and, without ranking them, it's just kind of, I want to give you my unfiltered thoughts. So thanks.